Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Orchid, as well as Stellar Lumens. Just a quick side note, guys. I do hope and would be greatly appreciated if you do hit that thumbs up like button on this video. I did a video yesterday and I titled it, "Is Bitcoin Oversold?" Looks like it. And we got a good amount of views. I've been trying to hit 50 likes on every video that we've been doing on this channel. We've been really trying to grow. I've been trying to keep you guys up to date and what's going on in the news, as well as taking a look at the technical analysis. And I was getting ridiculed by people as soon as this video went up. People were telling me that this is clickbait and it doesn't make any sense, this and that. And I got a lot of hate on this video. I do have more likes than dislikes, and I do appreciate that. But we didn't hit anywhere near our goal, and this helps us in growing the channel. And it turns out that I was right on this. It did end up playing out really well, as you guys can actually see on the chart here. Previous day, the green, it blasted off and was doing very, very well. And I substantiated a lot of things in that video, but unfortunately, people just had a different point of view and opinion on it, and I got bashed, even though in the end, it ended up going in the right direction. So if you guys can, please, it would be appreciated if you do hit the thumbs up like button on this video. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe as well and click the bell notification so that you don't miss all the latest news and information that's going on. And by the way, I'm not always right with things, but I've been doing really, really good. And I look at what a lot of other people are saying, and that's how I kind of base my calls too, is by doing a lot of research. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the news and focus on that. So one thing that I want to start off with here that I thought was pretty interesting, actually, we're going to go start over here, is that Forbes magazine. Okay, so today, guess what? Bitcoin went up a ton. Yet there's an article that came out from them, says why Bitcoin is falling and what it means. From Forbes magazine, okay? Very reputable. But what's really odd is that I read through this article, he doesn't really specify anything about its decline. He more talks about like, it's kind of just sort of there. So, but is it new revolution or just a new signal of market speculation? The answer may be both. Let's explore this, right? So the title comes across as very negative and suggesting that it's going on the downtrend, yet the price just shot up a whole bunch. So doesn't really match up with that. It's kind of weird that they were doing something like that. He ends his article by saying, just do not be fooled. Bitcoin is not a panacea. I don't know how you pronounce that word. It's a trading vehicle, at least for now. And its recent hints of at least a temporary price top after a strong rally is likely an indicator of market risk tallying pulling back as well. Okay, but it's not really declining. Again, it's going up. So I thought this was absolutely bizarre. That was written today, and the day before was where we were seeing more of a decline with Bitcoin's price, and then they were saying more of the bullish side, right? So it was coming back up, sure, but the fact that it shot up even more, and then they wrote it, I just find it weird. It's weird. So this was the day before. Bitcoin flirts with $19,000 as institutional interest grows. As you guys can see, they wrote another full article with that. Okay, so anyways, aren't you glad? So this is from today, also from Forbes magazine. Aren't you glad you kept your Bitcoin? Don't sell it. It took over 1,000 days since Bitcoin hit its previous all-time high recorded in December 2017. Taking a 3 to 5 year view and dollar cost averaging into a position that represents around 5% of your portfolio is prudent today. The next 9 months will bring substantial appreciation for Bitcoin. Wolf thinks, I would not be surprised to see $50,000 next summer. Within 4 years, we expect the capitalization of all crypto assets to grow fivefold, with Bitcoin at $100,000. He told me last week. All right, so a lot of people looking very bullish on this. Something else that's very interesting, though, shared over on Twitter by Beast Lorian. The price action on Bitcoin right now is something else. There's like zero sell pressure. Feels like the price is getting pulled up at this point instead of pushing up. Just look at those volume bars. Big pump coming, in my opinion. So looking at his chart, he's referencing onto the exchange for Bybit. Obviously, there's more exchanges than just that, but it is interesting to take a look at this. You can see that there are very large volumes of green candles taking place. You don't really see anything large red. Anything that's red is just kind of meandering around through this space, right? You can see some right here, and there was a bit of a price decline that took place, about $100 or so during that phase right there. But overall, everything is continuing to push up. So very bullish signs indeed. Did Bitcoin just bottom? Bitcoin reclaims $19,000 as new rally gains steam. So the idea is that we were looking around $17,000, ideally because of the CME futures gap before. So we're going to go ahead and touch on that and what they're saying. Conventional technical analysis suggests that the logical Bitcoin bottom would likely be established at $17,000. It marks the top of a weekly candle in January 2018, and it is also a major support area on lower time frame charts. Mora noted that Bitcoin may have appeared to recover randomly at $17,600 if traders were not observing exchange heat maps. All right. Yaramchuk, a cryptocurrency trader and an on-chain analyst, shared a similar sentiment when Bitcoin hit $17,600. On December 11th, the trader said, Bitcoin reached $17,600. In my opinion, this is the bottom. So more and more people feel that like, okay, we hit the bottom and now we're ready to go ahead and continue on pushing past $20,000. I was noticing some selling pressure someone had shared over on Twitter. I can't find it right now, but it was in relation to Binance. Seemed like 19,500. There's a lot that's being really pushed off against that, trying to be able to prevent people from going any higher. And so if we can break above that, then we're looking really pretty. And it's going to be kind of hard unless things start getting moved over to the exchanges pretty soon. But you got more institutional demand that's coming in. The miners can only do so much over the counter, and then the rest has to come off the exchanges. And we've still got 2 more weeks of this year. So if anybody else has a ton of money and they want to conclude 2020 before going into 2021 with some sort of purchase, well, yeah, then we've still got some opportunity here, guys. Okay, so next up, this is, will Bitcoin continue to rise? Crypto experts Phoenixio make their predictions. So, Phoenixio's own Adam Grunberg warns that Bitcoin is still a very volatile asset that's likely to keep experiencing ebbs and flows. In the next year, we could see fluctuations as big as 20 to 30% in Bitcoin value. As a partner who has traded the rise and fall and rise of the currency over many years, he has the experience to back this up. However, crypto trading expert Adam is largely optimistic about the future. These fluctuations are not going to be enough to slow it down. Bitcoin will likely break $50,000 in 2021, next year. COVID has completely changed the game when it comes to patterns of invested capital. Nations and companies are hedging their assets like never before with crypto, says Adam Grunberg. Glassnode reports, I guess I got my volume too high on that. Glassnode reports that miner wallets such as Lubian.com, F2 Pool, Binance Pool, and Poolin collectively hold more than 33,000 Bitcoin. Thomas added, miners need to cover their operating costs. It's clear we're going to continue going higher in a fairly convincing way for quite some time yet. Next up, guess what, guys? We have records that are being set. That's right, Bitcoin's realized price hits another all-time high. As Bitcoin's current price rises, so does its quote realized price. Today, its realized price hit an all-time high of $7,670.15. Bitcoin's realized cap also hit a new all-time high. This is in reference from Glassnode. And so just to kind of explain this a little bit further about what realized is, realized price is different to the actual price in that it refers to the value of coins that are actively used. It monitors the value of active cryptocurrency and excludes lost coins or cryptocurrencies left dormant in wallets for years. It is calculated by dividing the realized capitalization by the circulating supply. And today, Bitcoin's realized capitalization also hit an all-time high of $142.43 billion, Glassnode announced. This metric devised by analytics firm Coinmetrics measures the aggregate value of a cryptocurrency network by multiplying each cryptocurrency by the last time it moved. So if a coin last moved in 2018 when the price was $4,000, the metric takes that price into account rather than today's price when calculating the realized cap. These new all-time highs are indicative of a healthy market. That's a key point to identify with this, right? They're signing that this is a healthy market right now. All right, and then talking a little bit about Stellar Lumens, there's an article that was written here. Not much information news that I can find of anything major. It just seems like, it's regular trading positions with this from what I can tell. But if you know anything else with XLM that's going on, let me know in the comments down below. Let everybody else know. They're saying stellar price prediction, XLM is breaking out, primed for 40% rally towards 0.2300. Stellar Lumens is primed for a massive upswing against Tether as a key technical breakout looks imminent on the 12-hour time frame. They're looking at that on the 12-hour. I'm going to look at it on the daily position. Let's go ahead and take a look at XLM first. Kind of swap things out here just a little bit. So from the way that I'm charting this out personally, the way I'm looking at it, I'm looking at more of a position, and actually I could drop that down just slightly right there. I'm looking at it with the Fibonacci retracement. Take a look at this and how beautiful this is on the daily position here. This whole zone was just filled in between the 0.5 on the Fibonacci retracement and the 0.382. So it went all the way up, popped a little bit above, had a little bit below, closed out right along on that line. I mean, it literally closed out. I don't even know if I could zoom in anymore. Okay, it just barely underneath that line. But you see how just absolutely beautiful this Fibonacci retracement is with this. So now it's pushing into the red zone. It's got a lot of room to drop if it was to try and go back down to the 0.5. That's going to take it all the way down to 0.1582. It has 2 healthy days of candles with 2 days consecutively of closing above the 21 EMA. It technically can drop, but as long as it stays above the 21 EMA for a third day, it's still showing overall bullish signs. That significant drop might also mean an oversold position, overbought considerably, taking a look at yesterday's position, but the RSI is actually still showing itself as just a little bit above the average median zone. So that's very interesting with that. But based on this trend, if we were to have a breakout, I think the number that was referenced in the article is actually conservative. The potential movement for this could lead up to a range right around 26 cents, 0.2650 roughly, right? So that is a potential new high position, having climbed up. And looking back in the history of this, you don't even see it going back enough on the trading view. So I definitely think that that is a possibility, and it's something that we should keep an eye out for. That big high took place on November 25th. A lot of things are moving. A lot of things are in motion right now. People are trying to finish off the year strong, and it's going to be something. It's going to be something big, guys. So definitely keep your eyes out. The way I'm looking at it right now, I'm more bullish personally than bearish. I'm not a financial advisor. You guys should always do more research, cross-reference things. I feel like my calls have been very good, and I've been doing very accurate calls. So I'm proud of what I've been doing, and it's because I've been studying, and I try not to let my emotions play into the equation whenever I'm making these videos and I'm talking to you guys about this stuff, right? So you take a look at this right here. We are currently with this descending triangle pattern right here. We're right up near the top, right near that top level of resistance. We are closer to that position. If it drops below the 50% range, like if you drew this directly in the middle line all the way across, well, that's also where the 21 EMA is. So that actually coincides very well, and I think that just reinforces the idea of how valuable the 21 EMA overall really plays out. You know, there's so many other charts you could throw out there and try and make yourself look extra smart, and then guess what? You end up making bad calls with things, and I've just been keeping it for the fundamentals, and it keeps working. It keeps working. I think I've found a good rhythm to this, guys. If it drops below the 21 EMA, I do show concerning signs of a further decline and a potential bounce off that level of support at the 0.148. And if it does bounce off of that again and closes out near that point, I would be more skeptical about it having a further recovery going back up and showing more stronger signs of a further decline, as people might be moving their assets into other things. But as it is right now, XLM, Stellar Lumens, is looking very good in my opinion. The day has just gotten started. Volume is considerably low in comparison to the previous day. Volume was higher than the day before. Noticeably, it's about the same level as on December 11th, slightly less as the 2 previous days before that. So a lot of green. Basically, everything was pushing just on the way up. Still, lots more room for potential movement in the volume. So I would expect a higher increase in volatility here over the next couple of days, more than likely. All right, now let's go ahead and go to Bitcoin. and taking a look at this on the daily. And once again, guys, if you haven't yet, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up like button. It really helps us out. It's a form of engagement. The watch time that you're doing here, leaving the comments down below, all those things helps this get out there, and it helps us grow this channel. And I want to build an awesome community. You're a part of this community, unless you haven't subscribed yet. Then why haven't you subscribed yet if you're enjoying yourselves? And you know, I need your help, so I really appreciate you guys doing all this. Looking at the daily candle for this, you do see that we had a massive climb up from the previous day, further climb up as well on the December 12th candle, and breaking above into the $19,000 range. We are now on track trying to break the all-time high again unanimously across the board with the exchanges. We're looking at $20,100. So not only do we need to try and break $19,000, which we didn't really do, pushing back here, we got just underneath it. But not only do we need to break the psychological $20,000, but if we can break the $20,100, then we can say officially, like, we are up, we are going strong, right? And I think a lot of people would like to see that happen before the end of the year. So again, from a psychological standpoint, people don't want to miss the boat. People want to be a part of something big. People want to say that they're part of that movement. And I think it's a pretty high likelihood of it happening. The big concern I do have right now is with Mt. Gox. If you guys haven't heard, they're looking to release their Bitcoin as well as some of the other coins that they had to the previous holders. It's a little bit of a complicated situation because it sounds like some people would get Bitcoin back, other people would get a dollar value equivalent to what Bitcoin was at the time. So that means obviously they're not going to have anywhere near as much of a profit with this, but it's also been delayed in the past, and some of the people are waiting on it, are thinking that it's still going to be delayed longer. So it's a lot of this back and forth of uncertainty with this, but that could be coming up very soon and might have an impact on it. And I wouldn't be surprised if some people do go to try and take profits with it. So an air of caution with that, and we'll have to see how that plays out when the time comes with that, if it even does, right? They said it could potentially take another couple years for this whole court thing to be finalized and the distribution going back with them. All right, and then now you guys can see a little bit of a decline position right here. I'm gonna go ahead and swap it over on the 15-minute. The 15-minute chart is actually showing a descending channel pattern, and as of right now, we have on the last 30 minutes, also in the new 2-minute position, because it's 4:17 p.m. my time. So mostly it's been 15 minutes. You see a decline taking place and pushing right around in that median zone. So if we drew like a little pitchfork kind of pattern here, which I always seem to mess these things up whenever I go to lay them down, right? So look at how beautiful that is. I didn't even set this up ahead of time, but you look at that right there. We essentially had a bounce off of that position, and it could have a further decline down. So I would be looking most adamantly around 18,930 in the next 15-30 minutes or so, which is going to be not when you guys see this video, because it takes time for everything to get uploaded and the processing. So curious to see how that plays out for that time position, and if it does have a further bounce and continuing back up, this channel could continue. We've been seeing it going on here since back on round 5 on the UTC for December 13th, and it needs to break above a key level at 19,156. We saw a temporary break above, but then a retrace right back. So that was actually a fake out, and the candle closed out underneath that position. Same thing with here. You can see it briefly broke above. Now it's starting to have some more buying pressure, and it is starting to show stronger signs of a further rally. And you know, tomorrow is another key, very important, super important, I'm stressing some of these words so much, day, because that is the day that the electoral votes are to be cast for the President of the United States. And if everything goes as realistically it should, then there should be the declaration that Biden is supposed to win. You still have January 6th, where the Senate, which is going to be led by the Vice President Mike Pence, who's obviously a big Trump supporter because he's the vice president to Trump, he's going to be leading that, and there could be potential debates that arise with it. We don't know if there's some wacky antics that might go on at that point that decide to just kind of throw everything off. But as it is right now, tomorrow's going to be big because all the Wall Street investors that showed their support with the campaign for Biden. So if things reaffirm themselves even stronger tomorrow, there's more positive sentiment, there's less doubt in people's minds of what could potentially happen, of Trump flipping the table somehow on this. And when, we want more certainty in the market, more uncertainty with things. People are less willing to take risks if they are a larger investor. People like Mr. What's his name? Mr. Millionaire? Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. So he was saying, like, it's too volatile with these things. He wants to see an ETF. He doesn't like the idea of the volatility with it. And so there's a lot of other people there that just want to have more reliability. So very interesting with this. Keep your eyes open and watch those levels, guys. Up next, looking at Orchid right here, you have 2 days of green, still those tall wicks. So price tries to shoot way up and then immediately it gets pushed right back down. And I think that it might be a bot system. A lot of people on Twitter have been saying things that, like, joking that Orchid is a stable coin. And the fact that it bounces up and down and up and down, and it does so many of these pumps and dumps over and over again, it does feel kind of like a stable coin. But it is not a stable coin, and it is going to have a lot more promising things in the future if everything goes according to the plan and the layout and what they've been talking about. So like the Windows update came out recently, but it's in beta stages, and you got to do a lot of extra work to actually get it to do its thing, right? So it's too early of a stage for that wide adoption and the whole Windows aspect. So yeah, it's like it's there, but it's a stepping stone. Does that make sense? It's like you're developing a prototype before you go to the main distribution of a new iPhone, and it's the first ever iPhone. Think of it like that. So as it is right now, we are still in this symmetrical triangle formation, potentially pushing all the way to December 22nd based on my analysis with this, based on my perception of this, and looking at where there's a lot of confluence taking place between these. So if it comes to December 22nd, a decision is going to need to be made, and volatility will spike, and a major push will go in one of two directions, either down or up. As it is right now, we are pushing back, trying to reclaim above the 21 EMA. We have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of closure below the 21 EMA. Being below the 21 EMA suggests a further continuation of bearishness, of the sign of the price being down. And so once we climb above that, then it starts to signify that there's going to be more on that trend, right? So 3 days realistically for Orchid is what you need to rely on for strong stability of a pattern. So we have 3 days that have been established here. That means that it was likely to go down again, which guess what? The 4th day it did. Okay. And then I looked at the broader picture and showing how many days of red consecutively that there had been, especially when you have these large red candle positions that take place, right? It suggests that there's now more of the odds of it having a bounce back. And I mentioned this. Guess what? The price did go up. I was correct. I shared this on Twitter, and I feel like I should share more of these things kind of on Twitter. I've been kind of quiet with these things. I do a lot of different stuff, just so you guys know. I've got 4 different YouTube channels. I'm developing my own game. I got a manga. And so because I do different kinds of content, I've been kind of like not sure what I should say on my Twitter. But recently I've been kind of like, you know what? Whatever. It's my own Twitter. I just feel like I want to share and talk about whatever I want and just be me. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to fill one agenda and just talk about one topic. But getting back to this, looking at this right now, if we bounce off that level of support, you're looking at 0.2528. The 21 EMA currently is at 0.2740, needs to break above that. Then another key level is going to be at 0.2896, or basically 29 cents, psychologically breaking into the 30-cent range. As you guys can see right now, this large rectangular box, which I've had here for quite a long time. If you watch my old videos, you'll see this in all those videos. I've been leaving it here. This is a large form of space that's showing strong signs of consolidation. So this could potentially rally all the way up to 0.3232 and then start to retrace all the way back down again if it's doing this up and down, up and down, up and down. But now we have something that's much more different than before. I mean, there's a lot of things that are different and it continues to evolve. But one of the key things is that the token release, pretty much all the tokens have been majorly released at this point. Oh, sorry about the follow over there. And so because of that, having these massive dumps of new supply, which dilutes the value of the market space per coin whenever you have new purchases coming in, right? It's harder for it to actually go up in value overall as a market cap, because now you're having more of these tokens you have to acquire to make the same kind of price move. So we're in that kind of position now. So the fact that we have that already taken place, we have some of the sell-off that's been shown, and we're now showing signs of recovery and green and moving up, I think is very bullish in that sense. And the RSI is actually showing that it's below the 50 level. Right here, we're looking right around 45, 46. So there's plenty of room for this to still go and not even be considered, according to the RSI, as being overbought. Very interesting in my point of view. And let me know what you guys think about all this. Do you guys think that we're more likely to go up at this point than to go down as it is right now, because it's still below the 21 EMA? The technical analysis shows to me it's still bearish. I do have the signs of recovery, which are great from that previous day. But for this daily candle position, since I don't have a sequential order like this from before, to me, this shows potential of a decline. I would be really concerned of a bottom at 0.2530 or possibly a dip below and a retracement back up. I think there's a high likelihood that this is going to keep carrying itself up and down sideways, pushing near that date of December 22nd. If there's new major news that comes out with this, which I kind of doubt since we did recently have some big news, but you never know with this, then it could have it cause to go up further into this position itself. And if Bitcoin continues to rally, yesterday Bitcoin was doing a really good rally, right? And I was seeing a lot of movement with Orchid going up some and then immediately down, up some and immediately down. So it keeps feeling like you're compressing down a spring, and once it gets ready to actually launch, then it's going to have one of these massive candles like before. One of these huge daily candles. The only concern with that is that based on Orchid's history, it immediately has a massive sell-off. So I'm hoping that one of these candles goes in and somebody else pushes it even higher when all that selling pressure starts to take place, and then people kind of go like, oh, okay, maybe this time it's different and it's not a pump and dump. People were trying to dump it, but somebody else is fighting it, so ride the wave and keep it going, right? I think that is what is likely going to happen at some point. That's going to go and do it for this video, guys. Once again, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you know whenever there's a new video. We are trying to get to at least 50 likes on every single video. It'd be amazing if we could do 100. It'd be amazing if we could do even more than that. But we've been trying really hard to hit at least 50 likes, and you taking any moment of time to be able to do that would help so much. Leave a comment, tell us what you thought about everything today. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode. Tomorrow is going to be interesting.